Who do you think was the best Superman?
Oh, that's tough. I think Henry Cavill looked the best, but obviously it was used maybe incorrectly. And then it's obviously Chris Reeves, right? You have to go back to the OG.
You offend me, sir.
What else is there? What do you mean?
Dean Cain is the best superhero, period, and by far the best Superman.
Okay.
He had it.
Had what?
It.
That special something that only Dean Cain can bring. You just have a crush on Dean Cain.
Yeah.
Just say- yeah.
All right, guys, here we are to talk about the movie Dragon Fighter. 2003's Dragon Fighter. Lee, had you seen it before?
Of course not.
This is a Dean Cain movie, so of course I've seen it.
I know.
I saw this new release on VHS.
I'm sure you love this movie.
I enjoy this movie. This is the proper time for Dean Cain. We're like everything he did in this period he had 7 years ish of really fun projects of things where he's fighting all kinds of things with scales.
I think that this is a movie where he shines, especially in the latter half of it. There's a few interesting things here, but in general, this movie is awful.
It is definitely a low budget movie from 2003, which already you're like, how great could it be? This is the low millions, maybe $3 million budget. So it can only be so great, and CG was really coming into what it was at this point. So that if you judge it for that, you're really not going to like it.
And I am totally not. I've accepted all of the things that are going to be bad about it, but it doesn't have a lot of the zaniness or interesting stuff. It shows certain sparks here and there, but I thought it comes well below a lot of the other, because we've watched other creature things with Dean Cain and all that stuff, or with other people, right? Big snakes, big other monsters. Sure. And generally there's something that I can sink my teeth into, to use a pun here. But this I thought was devoid of a lot of that.
I think a lot of those things that you're missing are in this movie are the things that make it so good, because it's missing almost all of the things. And I think when you stack up, this is a good bad movie. I think it has a lot of weird fun things. I think if you're watching a movie called Dragon Fighter and you don't already know what you're getting into, you're not going to enjoy this if you're expecting a blockbuster for sure. But if you like Dean Cain, if you like a bad action sci-fi movie with a dragon, I think you're already where you got to be. And this is the movie to watch.
And maybe if you've missed this golden age entry into the whole thing, I would have assumed you would tear this apart though for all of its.
I have lots of issues with the movie.
Okay, good.
But so those don't make me not want to watch it. No, those are things that I'm like, yep, that's a bonus.
Well, the movie having problems and you liking it are not connected.
Not necessarily, no.
Fun thing. So there will be plenty to talk about. Once we go into the details.
Oh yes. If you've seen this, so don't care, follow the spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, guys. So here we are for the spoilers of Dragon Fighter. Dragon Fighter.
I like the name. My usual response would have been, is it someone who fights dragons, or is it a dragon who fights?
I think it's a dragon.
So this movie opens up with they're back in the day, God, 1100 something or other, and it's
all about this part.
It looks like shit. So it sets the pace. You're I know what I'm getting into, but it actually does look worse than any other part of the movie. Yes. So you have that bonus of open up strong. But also you're if you can get through that part, you're I can get through anything. So I think that's a decent start for a movie you'd see on the Sci-Fi Channel or something.
Let me just I just want to restate like I'm a police officer for some of these things.
Sure.
It's good that it's so shitty in the beginning, because then when it's less shitty later, you're all right, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and they start it with
very
not
funny.
even just the film quality and the plot or how things are happening, even just the science. They're using gunpowder before gunpowder existed to attack a dragon. I'm okay.
Gunpowder? Wait, what?
They had a big keg of gunpowder.
Oh God.
And that's one of the things that starts off this chain reaction.
I know there was a
explodes.
Yeah. There may be parts of this movie that I didn't retain because I was disassociating for various points. But
So like the only thing you need to walk away with is at some point there are a dragon, it gets caved in and gets found later, so that our scientists can be like, we found a dinosaur. It's only 1,000 years old, and like
yeah.
And that falls in their mandate, where they're allowed to bring anything back like 1,000 years or before. Like it had to.
How do you feel? Okay, so like my general theme here is going to be, this all seems like stuff that you would tear to shreds and then hate a movie for in other movies.
Well,
but you like it in this movie, right?
There's one valuable thing this movie has that most movies don't, and that's Dean Cain.
I know.
And I do think that
I just want to establish it for the record, because they say
let the record show Dean Cain is in this film.
They say like there's a whole heated exchange. We're only allowed to bring animals back that are from the time of man.
That is way outside of our area. We don't reproduce anything that was extinct before the time of man.
Yeah, and
this is like a loophole or something.
Making sense though, because a lot of these bullshit laws are things like that, and I could see them being like, you can only bring back things that we caused to go extinct. So like even more strict than the thing you have right here.
That may almost make sense. Like there's an approved list.
Yeah.
Why would you write dialogue like, but that's from prior to the time of man, and have them argue about this? And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Because there are species that would be from the time of man that might be a horribly bad idea to bring back, and vice versa. So why would it not
10?
Name 10. Botulism, hydrochloride. I like only name like parameciums and things that no
okay.
I have no idea. Yes.
No, but like I like just being in a world where like, okay, yes, dragons exist. I'm like, that's cool.
No, that's cool. The premise is cool.
The problems I have like with this movie, if I'm gonna rip some pieces to shreds, is that like they're letting Dean Cain be too Dean Cain-y.
Well, you guys been drinking? That's impossible.
It appears the impossible has just become possible.
So Dean Cain is supposed to be a military dude. He's the new security officer for this facility, and they haven't told him personally anything about what this facility is.
But he's guessed it all.
He guessed everything like perfectly.
That one had me stumped until I came up with this theory. You don't need any animal test subjects because you've been making your own.
Very good, Captain.
Yes. And then, like, even when it comes down to them, we found this dinosaur. He goes, dinosaur. They're like, what do you mean, Mr. Dean Cain?
Don't you guys study your fables? And then, like, Dr. Prick.
And, like he has, like, a PhD in fucking dragonology and, like, says all this shit. We're like, what the fuck? He's like, well, let me tell you, the Pakistanis and the Chinese and the British have all, like, what?
Well, you said it was found in England, right? England, Persia, and China are all full of legends about dragons, especially England.
He's like a Western civilization buff, or some weird, whatever you want to call it, like medieval history.
It's like, well, my parents were scientists, so I figured I should read.
At one point, this motherfucker's reading a book that just says advanced biology, and it's like a cold cut. He's just like, it's the funniest thing in the world. I enjoyed this movie for how bad it was.
Yeah.
But in like a like not in the way you're enjoying it, I think, at all.
No, I can swing from both sides of the enjoyment here. But things like that where I'm like, why are you even talking? Military people are trained to like not talk unless they're spoken to.
His character in this, and I think that it starts off where I just didn't like it, but then it changes almost a little bit. Where it feels almost like Dean Cain was like, fuck it, I don't care. But like movies are not filmed sequentially, so that can't be the answer.
No, yeah.
So like it's very
maybe this one was.
I understand, sir. Need to know basis, and I guess I don't need to know.
Don't take it personally.
That's possible, but yeah, like towards the third act, he's just cracking wise and doing weird stuff. Where I'm just like, okay, he's like now this makes less sense. Like it's not making more sense.
There's not a lot of sense.
His character's insane.
They develop his character to have a fear of fire that they display once.
I just have a real phobia of fire. Sorry.
Who doesn't?
No. I mean, I really hate fire. I couldn't even start bonfires when I was a Cub Scout.
And I'm like, okay, that never comes back. He's like running around. He's like dancing through fire.
And he keeps saying, "Oh, not again."
Oh, fire! That's like my reaction would be like, "Oh no, fire! Like fire's bad." Everyone thinks that.
And there's a point where he doesn't want to like crawl into a thing because
because it's on fire.
Because there's fire in there. Yes, but you don't have to be like have a.
It's not like being scared of dirt.
Have like a phobia where it's like, oh no, I can't go in there. Fire's always bad. And oh god, I'm sorry. This is gonna be very disjointed here, but like when the laptop gets set on fire, and then he grabs, he goes ooh, and he goes and like blows it. He blows it out, and then brings it back like, here you go, and they're like, great, thanks, and it's fine. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, no, she hardwired it, Lee.
Oh,
be careful, it's hardwired.
What the hell? Shit.
shit! I told you to be careful. It was hardwired.
I told you to be careful. I hardwired.
And like error 100, whatever. So like some of this is charming. Some of this is fine. I don't care that they just spray painted, Hewlett Packard, keyboards silver and just littered them around the facility. It's like, it's science in here, guys.
I like the facility.
That's good.
I thought a lot of this actually
Blinking
had really
lights.
great sets and stuff.
Absolutely.
The idea that every door is this like kind of door that's too small to like everyone has to duck to get in. I'm like, okay.
Because it was built in the 50s when everybody was smaller.
Well, that doesn't work.
I'm joking.
This was a former, like nuclear fallout site
shelter
or whatever, a bomb shelter.
Yeah.
But they explain that the facility is inside of the facility. So like when the dragon's outside, he can get anywhere because the facility is inside this like giant cave or whatever inside the thing. And so the idea that they had to make this tiny facility and the elevator to get into the facility is the only way in or out, as they explained.
When the lab was built, all the access tunnels were sealed off. The elevator is the only way in or out.
Fire codes, OSHA, fuck you. And that one also has the very tiny door. I was like, how did they get anything down there? Did everything come down in small pieces and get assembled?
It's like building a ship in a bottle, Stefan.
Pretty much.
Yes.
I think
of all
hilarious.
the things, that's something I do not need to explain to me at all.
Okay, how about some worse things?
Because my answer is yes, of course, because it's all just the same bullshit thing.
Kinda.
Like that, yes.
We have a bomb that goes off that is 54% of Hiroshima.
The explosion will be 53% of Hiroshima.
53%. Oh, well, gee, I was worried it was going to be something bigger.
And I'm like, okay, that's a large nuke. I think that would fuck up most of your shit. And then in the post-credit scene, there's some scientists guys looking for DNA or something, and they're like, this is the facility under the facility. Dude. We're actually 30 feet below the original facility, and it's the exact same facility, and it's not damaged at all.
I literally was like, can I purchase Bitcoin to put a hit on the director or writer of this movie? Because I'm like, what? Because they're wearing masks or something.
Hold on, this is a back facility. I guess they're running another experiment here.
You can have them say anything you want, and you want them to say, I guess they thought they needed a second whole thing just in case.
The military, everything costs twice as much because they do it twice. They could have just put an egg in any little area, like that part where it's just concrete and bullshit, could have just been an egg. And they've been da-na-na.
They said that it nested. They said that blah, blah, blah. It survived this, or was trapped in this cave-in before. You could do all those things. There's no egg. Okay, there's a line that Dean Cain, he's like, I'm going to go fix my helicopter so that I can, take care of this once that thing hatches.
Nathan, I better get upstairs and fix my chopper so we have a way out of here once that thing hatches.
Wait a second.
And I'm like, nothing is hatching. What are you talking about? They're cloning it. You don't clone an egg that then hatches. What's wrong with you, right? But okay.
Dean, though, can foresee the future because this whole time he knows that a large monster is coming.
Yes.
Because aside from that line where he's like that, he's like, get the guns.
Any sort of weapons or tranquilizers in here? For what?
There would be a fetus. It would be so small.
Yes.
Just by some stroke of craziness, it was able to grow to be as the size of an adult dragon in 7 hours.
No, they need a fusion reactor to accelerate the growth, she says. Which again could be dumb and fun on its own. Here's my script doctoring. All right? Get rid of all this fucking shit where he guesses everything before it.
That was just a lucky guess, and this is a silly thought. Just
have the sample go in, have the sample cooking, use that time that happens off camera that doesn't exist, have the guessing start there. Have them all get this idea of a dragon in their head while it's cooking. Instead of before. He guesses that it's a dragon before they even start.
There has to be some sort of a reasonable explanation as to why English folklore is so full of dragons. Small lizards aren't even indigenous to England, right?
And then, when it's a dragon, they're like, what the fuck, is it a dragon?
The most important paleontological find in history.
Hey, Doctor, maybe you haven't been keeping score, but whatever that thing is, it just capped 2 of our guys.
It's the weirdestly structured thing fucking
They
ever.
all act like they've never even heard of a dragon.
Yes.
A dragoon? What the hell's that? That's almost as weird as having this top secret military base have a former security officer that's Russian.
It was built by the military in 1959. In the event of a nuclear strike. At the time, it was to house several hundred Californian politicians and their families.
he has a fucking Russian patch on his. I'm like, wait a minute, did we import a Russian security specialist for this like American base?
The only silver lining there is Dean Cain calls it out and says, "Isn't that weird? Like a Russian person being head of security in like a former bomb shelter." And he's like, "No."
It's got to be ironic, you being Russian, working in an American bomb shelter, don't you think?
Not really.
Okay.
And that's fucking like, not to be racist or whatever, but
that's how they would say. Yeah.
That's Russian right there. They think two things are funny and everything else is like no. It's just like fucking no. It's great. But it's okay. So the whole thing is building. We're like, they don't know what's in there. We don't know what's in there. You're gonna send them in there? Don't send them in there. And the whole time I'm like, can't they see in there before they go in there? What the fuck's going on?
Why is it strange to even? You're gonna send people in there?
Then on the way out, there's a quick shot of like a camera where they could totally see in there.
Yes.
And they would totally see a dragon in there. And then right after that, and then I will let you defend all this crap if you so choose.
Indefensible.
Then it's torn a gigantic hole into the back of the room where there is no door. But there's a huge controversy where they won't let Dean Cain come through the door because they have to keep it sealed.
Yeah.
And it's literally like you took things from other movies and just dumped them in, and we say that a lot, but it's not in like a fun way here. It's just like, wait, what are you doing? And then I'm like waiting for the payoff. I'm like waiting for his like guessing to pay off or for something to like click in. I thought
he did guess everything.
I thought Dean Cain was going to be in on it. I thought sorry, I'm going to keep talking. I thought Dean Cain was going to be like in on it somehow, or he was a part of the ancestors of the knights or something weird like that, where it was going to cut back and a guy takes off his helmet and it's like Dean Cain with like a beard, and then it's, he explains like, I'm here to like finish what my ancestors started, and I've been tracking these dragons for like thousands of years.
I would have liked the sword to play into it at all, because they carry the claymore around for a while. I'm like, okay, is he gonna throw it out of the helicopter or something? Like, that would be cool.
Like it's made of something that can actually kill the dragon or something like that? Yes.
Did you catch, when they introduce all these characters, there's like a really, really quick fucking thing where it says like their name, their weight, their eye color, their bullshit.
Too quick, because the font is weird, but it's so 90s, it's so good.
But whenever those things come up, I always pause, because I like to read everything. And like a bunch of these characters are from Chicago, including our doctor, who's clearly not American. He's Dr. like Drakovich. And I'm like, a little on the nose here, huh?
Do you think he was 100% dubbed, or like what was going on with his voice?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell if he was trying to do an accent and failing, or trying to hide an accent and failing.
I've been trying to prove that dragons are the last strain of the dinosaur.
So then this was an unsanctioned cloning.
Bold ideas require bold decisions.
I think it was to try to hide an accent and failing, because it said he was from Chicago.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's not where you're from. But I think two other people were also from Chicago, and I'm like, I think you just didn't know places in America, because this is like filmed in Bulgaria or something.
I've heard of Chicago. We'll see that again. Chicago, hotbed of cryptogenetical research from fucking the history.
That happens.
Yes.
And like, it does seem like it's right outside of a city, because a very short helicopter ride and you can see the lights.
It's heading for the city. It's heading for the lights. We gotta keep that thing away from the city.
From like something, so I'm like, oh, are they just off the cusp? Are they in Illinois? Like, where are they? I don't know that they ever say.
Is it in the Great Lakes? Where is it? On Earth? Do we even know?
What I do know is the first time you see Dean Cain, it is the worst masking into a helicopter you've ever seen in your life.
Dr. Dragovich, would you like to ride up front? It's a better view.
No, thank you.
The person who made this only had the angle from when they were shooting him, they couldn't scale back far enough to make him small enough to make it actually make sense for the size of the helicopter
they have. Because if you shrunk him, you would
like
see
the top
edges.
Yeah. so he's just far too big. He's like, all right, back there, Doc. I'm like, and like the helicopter's this big, and he's like this big. It's so goofy.
It's like a Lego set where it's just his big head. I didn't catch that. That's amazing.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, this is an awesome conversation though. In the beginning, right, it starts off the guessing and the whole tone there. We begin in the helicopter and we end in the helicopter.
Helicopter is pretty good when you're inside it.
Just a little bit.
It looks functional.
Sure,
looks nice.
Absolutely.
Like a lot of the set stuff in here is really good, and honestly, the first shot you see of the dragon, the first CG where he's small and flying. you're like, oh, that's pretty good.
In the finale?
No, in the beginning.
Oh, in the ancient
in the finale,
times?
it's good too because it's dark.
Yes.
So you're like, oh, you could do this at night.
That's what I was getting at, is that like it ends in the helicopter, and now we have something to work with, because there's a helicopter and the dragon's flying around, and like it's like rainy, and is it rainy or is it just dark? It's dark.
I think it might be raining also.
And like it's like obscuring it enough that you're like, okay. Funniest part though is when our like doctor whoever slides open the door.
I gotta take a picture.
Starts taking pictures.
Doctor, what the hell are you doing? Are you crazy? Get back in here!
With his little like handy cam, little weird camera, and I think the Flash.
The Flash is what alerts
bothers
him.
He's like, what are you doing? He's outside the moon, the lightning, his own fiery breath. Nothing alerts. Everything's fine. But then like little like tiny little bulb.
Which he's a scientist. He should know that Flash is not going to take a picture. Like it's too fucking dark.
The Flash was so powerful, Stefan, that it actually
mighty.
Alerts the dragon to his presence. So obviously, it was sufficient.
I love real quick. He calls in. He's like, "Hey, Mitch, is that you?" He's like, "Oh, what do you need, Dean Cain?" He's like, "There's something on my ass.
They're old buddies.
Can you get it off of me?" He's like, "Yeah." And he scrambles jets. He's like, "They'll be there in 3 minutes. Make it 2." And like 5, I don't know what they are, F-16 or something,
whatever.
show up, and you're like okay, and like they don't need like. It could be anything behind him. And it would be an international incident if it's not an American plane. If it's an American plane, it's a travesty. What are you shooting things over on American soil? What's happening here? And then when they do get there, we can't get a lock on.
Just fire! Fire!
And he shoots a missile, misses, blows up someone's barn or something.
Well, you're skipping.
Well, hang on.
Okay, go ahead.
So like, at no point do they just try to use machine guns or anything that would make sense.
They only have missiles.
They're buzzing by it and doing
exist.
shit.
Yes.
But Dean Cain comes to the rescue. He's got this. He lets loose the fuel he doesn't have, and it hits the dragon in the face, and then he shoots it with the flare gun and lights that bitch on fire. Can you see it now? Yeah, we can see it now.
He says, switch your missiles to heat seeking. The guy goes, it's not giving off enough heat though. We have established painstakingly that this dragon is warm-blooded.
But it's a carnivore.
Obviously.
Reptilian in nature, but warm-blooded.
Warm-blooded?
Extremely. That was what really set it apart from the dinosaur DNA I looked at.
Yes.
And not cold-blooded.
So it would give off a substantial amount of heat.
It would give off heat. Maybe not enough.
I don't know what it requires actually to lock on to something.
Fair enough. I actually missed the part with the fuel dumping.
Oh, that's the best part.
So I was just like, he shoots a flare gun and it just magically sets the dragon completely on fire. It makes no sense
the
at all.
helicopter lines up within like inches of it, and it just goes. And like just shits all the fuel in his face. He's like,
I don't like this at all.
And then shoots it with a flare gun.
So now that it's on fire with like jet fuel or helicopter fuel, probably uses jet fuel, then the missiles can lock on.
Yeah.
And now we did it, folks. We done it, whatever. And then actually, as a callback to like what he says would have happened if they had run out of fuel, they do that. Where he has to like auto rotate down. Go down.
We're out of fuel.
Auto rotating.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But the dialogue is so cringy. She has some line about, his love interest in this is like, you can also fly we have to establish that she can fly a helicopter. And then like, she has this line, he's like, maybe we should go out sometime for flying. No, but for dinner. Ha 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 ha. And then it's all added in post. And she's like, okay, let's go to dinner, but not one of those Chinese food places that has dragon in the name. And she doesn't even hit that line right. She says some other version of that.
Why don't we start with dinner first?
Just make sure it's not one of those Chinese restaurants with the name Dragon in it.
Doesn't have a dragon in it.
Well, she didn't have time because the movie just fucking ends.
It just cuts, yes, it just ends there.
Out.
I guarantee you it will not be one of those. You really are a little Houdini magician, aren't you?
They had to add that little zinger so you know that they're not going for mushu or wontons. They're going for hamburgers now because they've been traumatized by this dragon.
But it's such a there's not even a peck on the cheek. It's like we're friends. Like almost ending. She went back. She saved that fucking Houdini dog. Like she looks to see every animal and goes like, this one. I'll save one.
No, I saved one. The one from earlier.
Yeah. Oh man, Dean's like process of elimination. It's like, well, I know this is a scientific lab. And I know the one thing you don't have on your list is animals. So I figured you must be making your own.
Must be close.
That is the fucking leap of all leaps. They could have been doing what if they could be making lasers? They could be doing anything with guns,
Exactly.
or robots, or anything that wouldn't require
Which is why I was sure that he was in on it, and just because the scientist says, "Who told you?" He immediately gives it away and immediately fucks it up and indicates.
Sir, I don't mean to pry.
Who told you?
No one, sir. I just figured out for myself.
So I was like, okay, Dean Cain is either like a super spy who was sent here by the Russians to do something, or he's in on it the whole time, and his ancient ancestors are dragon hunters, and this is how this works. I was like, word.
You get neither of those joyous things.
Has to be one of those two things. He can't just be a normal, like, his swag levels go through the roof. But by the time he's cutting his lines in the helicopter with her, he just does not give a fuck. He's laughing and talking, and his that's
what I'm saying. He's too Dean Cain. Yeah, he's too powerful. He couldn't contain it.
That's what I mean. He's not.
He couldn't contain it.
What's his name? Carver or something? He's not Sergeant Carver. He's Dean Cain.
I'm not sure whether to take that as a compliment or a backhanded insult.
Yeah. He's just literally Dean Cain on the Ellen show on the couch doing his like, hey, I'm Dean Cain. I'm so charismatic. That's what he's doing throughout.
Call me Clark. I'm Superman. I love Cookie.
Yeah.
Cookie, the fucking chef there. He's like you see him for like 1 quick second putting earbuds in. You're like, what the fuck is that? It's like, he's not deaf. He's not deaf.
I agree. I would have liked it if the scene where Dean Cain finds out he's not deaf and the scene where everyone else finds out he's not deaf were not literally right next to each other.
Yeah, they are very adjacent.
That would have been cool.
I told you, he's deaf. He cannot hear you. Hand me that gun. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. And he's like, what?
Cookie, shotgun, please.
He can't hear you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And he goes, anybody need anything to eat? Like, oh, I'm funny or whatever. Oh,
Yeah.
that's wounding me.
You guys want anything to eat?
There's a scene where Dean's crawling through a duct, but that duct just runs directly horizontal to the walls in like the hallway, and there's like a mesh along the whole way. So like I'm like, what kind of duct is this? It can't actually like do anything.
Is this for food deliveries?
Do you just store things there? And like he like kicks it gently, the fucking whole thing falls off with a dragon there. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? This is a make-believe set.
In my memory, he like kicks open one grate to like alert the dragon and then runs the other way. Does that happen?
I'm sure.
Okay, whatever.
At one point, him and I can't remember who. It might be the security guy. Oh no, it's the guy who ends up going
Animal
like, I want to be alone because I'm a fucking idiot. Let me turn the
Oh
music
my
up
God.
and I'm gonna drink in here. I'm good. Fuck off.
Yeah, that's good.
Eyebrows Mick drinks at work.
They go into a vent, so like they rip off the vent, they crawl in, and then immediately are standing upright in a hallway. And I'm like, what the fuck? This movie doesn't know what vents are.
It's a Jeffries tube. It's from Star Trek. It makes perfect sense.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned the cameras before. So like there's a camera you can clearly see into the thing that they were going into blindly with the smoke or whatever. There are cameras in every room of this fucking building. In
Yes.
people's bedrooms, there's cameras everywhere.
Okay.
Any of you people seen the white count on this area? It's through the roof.
Must be encoding.
There's a scene where someone like clicks the camera off into Kevin's room, the eyebrows guy. And I thought that was more intrigue too. I did so much work watching this movie that doesn't happen.
You thought like the government's watching to see like this experiment go down?
Because then they're all like, what happened to Kevin? What happened to Kevin? What do you mean you left Kevin? And then Dean Cain says, why does everyone give a shit about Kevin?
Why the hell does everybody care about Kevin all of a sudden? Sergey, Greg, Capilla, and Roth, they all disappeared. Nobody seems to care. But suddenly, Kevin, who might be drunk and passed out in his room, and everybody starts spazzing out.
It was such a weird where I'm like, okay, this is obviously something. One of them is like in on it or doing this or doing that, but maybe you find out and I missed it. Maybe it's not in there. I don't know, but that never, like, it's not like The Abyss or something where like you find out that one of the people on the crew is really this or something's happening.
No, just the doctor was spying on everybody.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Drekovich.
Yeah.
Which, like, cause from the beginning, he was like looking, like, oh, they're telling him this and that. And like,
Yeah.
the scientists don't seem very professional. They're not dressed in any way where I'm like, yes, you're at work here. One girl has like a twisted like navel showing shirt. And that's that main girl, and she's literally in this movie and one other movie, and that's her whole acting like life.
Do you know what the other movie is?
Like Surfing Lawyer or something like that. I'll show what it really is, but it's something that at least inspired me to say surfing lawyer.
You're a smart guy, Kevin. Go ahead.
I don't think Dean like ever even completed his work on the chopper. Like, I'm not sure the chopper should have even flown when they went to get in the first place.
What do you think?
I have no idea.
It doesn't. They don't show it.
No. At one point, he even starts a fire, like burns the shit. And I love that that doctor lady is there to put it out. And I'm like, that's weird. Where the fuck did she come from?
Because they just talked like they were parting ways.
Yeah.
Like he said, oh, science is bad though, and she's like, usually not though. And they had like a weird
It's not
separation.
like he's in the bay of this facility. You have to like go outside, go up the hill, walk on. I'm like, is there even a place to refuel this thing?
No. It's strongly implied that she had second thoughts about their disagreement and was following him to like talk to him, but none of this is shown. She's just suddenly there while he's fixing his helicopter.
A lot of this makes sense. Like, why did he even fly in? Like, it's not like the former security guy flew himself in. There's another helicopter up there. Like there was no way for them to leave this place. He flies himself in and that's his personal helicopter? Like what is this? Shouldn't like resources get dropped off by some other person?
Because even if he's flying the other doctor in, he's staying. So who's flying the old security guy out? What the hell's going on?
Nobody.
Even the things that I don't care about don't make sense.
No.
That's what we know. That's when you know it's real. It's
quality.
Good. There's been something that I've been avoiding mentioning.
What do you got?
This time. I figured you would say it, because you'd be like, what do you mean on this movie? It's got split screen.
Doctor, you have created a real-life, fire-breathing dragon, and he's really pissed! So open the door and let me in!
Oh, I actually... No, I did take note of this, and I think they do this really well. And I think that it's because there'd be a lot of these like really dull, exposition-y, talky bullshit scenes.
Okay.
But like... In this, it moves quite well, and at some points there are 6 individual shots happening.
Yes.
And like, I don't think they had more than 2 cameras at any given time, because like there's some stuff with Dean Cain like fixing the helicopter where like it does look like he moves right in through one shot when the shot is taking place.
Yeah, I actually love split screen.
Yeah.
And there are points where it's done really well, where things kind of swoosh and slide and like snap in and do cool stuff.
There are bad parts too though.
But it's kind of overused. The first one's on the helicopter, and it's literally like the same shot. It's like one camera's here and one camera's here.
Because he walks from one into the other shot.
He's when he's crouched, in like the hole to do the stuff, talking to the doctor. Like he's just in both shots. The angle is like slightly different. And
great.
Well, because like split screen to me is like usually used unless you're Ang Lee to like save something that like got messed up that like you didn't have,
or something that's very quick is happening at the same time. And, like you can't cut back and forth.
Yeah.
It's like that's him shooting and that guy getting shot at the same time.
Or you want to show the bomb is still ticking while he's fumbling with the lock or something. So, something stylistic. But here I'm like, that's the same shot. Oh God.
Well, hopefully it landed between the trees. Let me get you back inside. I'll come back and fix this afterward.
Is this going to be a thing? What is this? And then in my notes, I'm like logging every timestamp of every split screen thing and saying like, this one was good. This one was bad. There's one that could have been amazing, where it's the back of Dean Cain's head to see the doctor talking to him, and then the front of Dean Cain's head, and then one head starts moving but the other doesn't. It's not synced. It's like different. And I'm like, God damn.
There's one where there's like 5 shots on screen, but like some just start to drop out because like we only filmed so much of that guy, and then there's just black there.
Yes, no.
It's so good.
This room and facility were designed to be completely self-contained and protected with 5-inch thick steel lining all the way around in case there was a contamination leak.
When it's all the different characters, because they all rush into the room and it shows all their different faces. It's like Brady Bunch.
At certain parts of that, I'm like, I really like that. Like, I think that some of that stuff's pretty cool.
I'm a huge fan of split screen, but yeah, it was a little sloppy. There's certain points where like there's like 2 on the left and then one long one on the right, but the one long one is a little taller than the 2 other ones. It's not like balanced. Things don't have to be exact and like right angles for me, because sometimes it's like picture in picture where there's one big one and one littler one, and I'm like, word. One of them has like a 5-way split, like it's Power Rangers. Like, let's form Zoidtron. It's like, oh shit.
6 months ago, a construction team in Essex, England, uncovered the fossilized remains of what appeared to be an unknown dinosaur.
So like I enjoyed that aspect of of the film, because even if it's bad, I'm still laughing. Be like, I can't believe you did this to your movie. And if it's good, I'm like, cool.
I thought it set it apart from a lot of things at the time.
Exactly.
I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. There's actually some amazing camera work. There's one particular shot where the camera zips down like it's like an L of a hallway, and it goes down one and like pops up from the other side, and it's so good.
There was a moment like that when the animal control guy and Dean Cain are first hunting the dragon. I think there's a cool pull past them.
Meredith?
To show their faces and something like that. Yeah. I agree. There were certain shots where I was like, okay, you can move the camera. Holy shit.
Is that clear?
Yes. Yep.
Crystal.
Doctor?
Yes, Captain. Clear.
There's that like alien tracking map thing, like boom, and they can see like large things and things blipping, and I'm like, at first you're like, oh, do they have a beacon on them? Is that how they're tracking them? And then it can track the dragon too. And I'm like, how could you not always know where the dragon was?
Oh my God, Greg, there's something moving toward you.
I don't see anything.
When the dragon, okay, first of all, she looks into this like old school peep show box thing to like see it.
It's 30 years old.
And it's just green lines, and there's just two little green dots.
I love that.
And then when like the big dot shows up for the dragon, I was like, oh God. And so my notes say, they reenact the scene from Aliens where it's like, it should be right on top of you. And then it's right on top of them, right? It's that, but they don't do it as well at all.
And just like what that hallway is, like I don't know how people think vision works. Like you don't just like see like this. It's a large room that's like 40 feet tall, maybe some crazy thing. Like you'd be able to see the whole thing, especially when a dragon that's like 20 feet tall is in the fucking room. And I'm sure
Even
it's
if
not
it's on the
quiet.
ceiling.
It's a fucking dragon.
Absolutely crazy, because so like in the scene from Aliens that they're referencing,
it's literally above them.
There's like a drop ceiling, so it's like scanning for motion or whatever it scans for, and the dude pushes up one of the tiles and goes, and then you just see this like quick flash.
Yeah,
masterfully done. Made a huge impression on me. But yes, it looks like an old Doom level where it's just this weird like colored ground and then like pillars and weird stuff.
It works once they say like, oh, this was the facility they built inside of. Because other than if they didn't and you can save things with one line, that line saved that whole thing.
When it was built in the 50s, the lab was built inside of the original structure, which means anything on the outside can move all around us.
Yes.
But the idea that like it has lights and shit in it is a little weird.
But the verticality of it, because like the dragon has to start far away, like it should have been like grates and like a weird ceiling with tubes and stuff where it like comes down onto you or something. It's like
or like you hadn't seen it yet, like they hadn't seen it yet.
Right.
It could have like in this dirty whatever thing, it could have just been like against the wall, and like maybe you just didn't notice it, and then like it uncamouflages and kills them.
Maybe it has camouflage powers. Maybe it has any powers.
Something.
Like okay.
Breathing fire is pretty cool.
They accelerate the growth, but they're still shocked at like how fast it grew.
It was at 23% when I went to dinner. When I came back, the specimen was 100%.
Yeah.
Which then I'm like, what about a dragon would do that? Is that a thing? Does that come into play?
That's just how dragons are.
And it doesn't get wounded.
Why
and,
did it explode in the first place?
Huh?
Like the facility like exploded, like and it like blew like like a big bomb thing kind of goes off and it blows out through the back wall. Was that explosion just because it burst through the wall?
Just fire,
like,
I guess.
Like what exactly was all that? I'm like, oh, this seems to have escalated very quickly.
Yeah, like we don't see it, and I feel like all that could have been saved by like something destroyed the camera in there. And it's like, what do you mean? It's like the sample. What do we do? Go in there. Wait, I'm head of security. Oh, and Dean Cain is head of security and keeps bringing up valid security. Valid security concerns. And then all the doctors and scientists, like the main guy's like, why don't you just stay in your lane, bitch? And he's like, and I want to be like, that's the only thing that's his lane. He
eventually draws a gun on one of the doctors in charge. He's like, open that door.
I will not contaminate the incubation facility.
Open the goddamn door.
I'm like,
I wrote that down too. Dean Cain, open the goddamn door. That's third act Dean Cain when he's popping off and doesn't care anymore, and he's just cracking wise and making jokes.
Even the standard things of like, okay, we have these guns for our animal control. Like, those are shotguns. You have shotguns for animal control?
Yes. Animal control is my responsibility. Fine.
Because they have this movie does everything that that I love but bad, because they have color-coded ammo.
tranquilizer, cyanide, 500-gram double-aught shot, stop an African elephant.
Well, but that's what's great about that is the tranquilizers you have to assume are loaded into the gun because they're going to try to subdue this thing. He's like, I'm going to try to save it, Doc, but if I have to kill it, gotta kill it, fuck off. And like then like when he sees what it is, like, oh, fuck this, and like holds up a red one where you're like, ah, that's an actual like, you know, like buckshot or slug or whatever.
Screw that.
But doesn't like load more than one of those in, but then does nothing but fire those for the rest of the movie. You're like, where did those come from?
No, like because I think, you know, green is like the tranquilizer. Blue I think is cyanide or something.
Yeah.
So like he holds up the other color and goes, I don't think so, and then holds up the red one like, here we go.
Yeah.
Double aught buck triple.
I think
fucking
cyanide might have been the most effective,
especially when the actual, you know, shotgun, you know, ammo, you know, just doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Then go back to the cyanide. Yeah. Exactly.
Try it at least. Shit, try knocking it out. They say themselves, we don't know what that'll do to a 1,000-year-old creature. It could just kill it.
We're talking about a creature that hasn't existed for 1,000 years. We have no idea what effect a tranquilizer will have on her.
Fuck yeah, bitch! Let's kill it.
Try drawing, so, you know, like a big door on the wall and hope he gets confused. Try anything. You're being killed by this thing. Yes.
Oh, I love, in this, they do the same thing that any movie with any animal does. It's smart. It's so smart. It knows there's only one way out. It's trapping us. How would it know that? Dean Cain didn't know that until a moment ago when you explained to him. And he's the head of security.
It's a dragon. You think it's got some kind of logic why it does things?
It knows this is our only way out. Maybe it is trying to fool us to come out, and bingo.
Right? Because he spent his whole helicopter ride, you know, playing guess the plot with this doctor instead of studying a map of the facility he's supposed to be head of security of.
How? Yeah, he's supposed to be like holding the map while he's driving his fucking helicopter. The idea of
he should have studied it beforehand is what I'm getting at. And then you could have had a cool thing where it's like, what the hell is all this? Well, that's not on the map because that's technically not this facility.
Yeah.
But we have the old part of the facility. Because Dean Cain says, oh, he's in the old part of the facility at one point, so he's supposed to know that. But how does he not know about the cooling system or whatever?
Where's the creature?
That's probably in the old part of the facility right now. We're gonna try and track it down and tranquilize it.
Yeah. No.
We're gonna need more weapons. What else do we have besides this?
Not much.
I love when the doctor goes like, evacuation? That seems a bit rash.
That thing breathes fire! That's it. We're evacuating right now.
Captain, wait, please. Evacuation. That sounds a bit rash, don't you think?
At this point, like, everything is going wrong and, like, they're gonna die. Well, evacuation seems a bit rash.
The main shithead guy?
Yeah. Oh, God. That fucking Kevin guy who, like, drinks in his fucking room and dies.
And turns on the stereo.
It was so funny because I'm like, God, Kevin's a fucking idiot. And then Dean Cain's like, God, he's an idiot.
Just like Kevin here, it's not nearly as intelligent as it might appear.
Hey.
And I was like, how do you know?
When he gets to his room, he's like, you live like a fucking pig, Kevin.
You live like a fucking pig, Kevin.
Yeah. And he's just like shitting on him all the time. And like at this point in the plot, I don't know that we don't as the audience know. I thought Kevin was necessary because Kevin was like, well, I can't do it from here. We need my laptop from my room.
Yeah, he's the Newman you thought from Jurassic Park.
So you thought so when he says, fuck it, I'm gonna stay here and get drunk, like how did Dean Cain know that just the laptop was enough and the other chick could like do the access? Like,
and isn't she like a sequencer or something? Like they gave him all their titles. He's like the engineer.
Bailey's a genetic encoding specialist.
Genetic encoding.
She takes the DNA strands and figures what it will look like, any special needs.
He's the dude who should be doing these things.
Yeah. Oh, God. Just how they get him coaxed into this position. Dean Cain's like, I'm going to cut your fucking hand off and I'll take you, you stupid bitch.
That hand is coming with me to your room. I don't care if you are attached to it or not.
Stop! All right, I'll go.
There's a part, and I could be wrong, because there's a lot of things that are inconsistent and don't make sense here. I thought the power was out, and Dean Cain is being chased by a dragon, and he shoots a control panel, and it's like, and the door opens, and I'm like, I thought the power was out.
He then turns around and shoots some more, and the door closes.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's where he then finds the doctor's all into dragon shit and knows it's dragons all along.
What the? Son of a bitch.
Oh, this is my shit. Fuck you. I'm like, God damn it, Doctor.
What a revelation.
Yeah.
Yes. No, everything's basically wrong about this movie. Like he should have been with someone else who could have seen all that stuff in like in the main doctor's room to then do the thing from like Hollow Man where it's like, this isn't what I signed up for. You've betrayed me. Come on, it's science, Lisa. You must do the thing. Like you have a fucking.
They
thing
should have found
on.
out the Doctor was spying on all of them. What is this? This camera? You're spying on me?
You are a stupid son of a bitch.
Like I don't know what language that European girl was, but she gets barbecued in the fucking elevator.
English, with Cookie in there.
Yeah.
No, like there should have been a plot, I think, right, or something like that, because like the main doctor's hiding something, but it's the thing that we all know about that Dean Cain guessed in front of them, so it's not really hiding anything, right? But there could have been this cool thing where like, he knows shit that can now help them or maybe him survive, but it's a betrayal for the team to like reveal it.
Like at the end, he's the dragon that burst out of the thing.
I've been hiding this all along.
I injected this DNA at the third lab.
I also wanted the dragon to like swoop down and like eat him. Does he do that? Did I miss that? He falls out of the helicopter, right?
He falls out of the helicopter. I think he just dies. I don't think he gets eaten.
Dumb.
Yeah, fuck him.
Also, when he opened the door, I thought he was gonna like give himself to the dragon. Oh, it is your place on the food chain. Eat me. And no, he just like
Mind him.
I can walk.
Yeah, don't look too happy about this, Doctor. I just remember they don't give out Nobel Prizes to dead people.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to tell the people goodbye or just we're done?
I just said, oh, yeah. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Deaf guys who can talk, dragons. I'm in the freaking Twilight Zone.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only